What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about Lucid, give you a quick overview of some of the data points, what's driving it, and latest in announcements. Before we get into any of that, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So Lucid is up 3.37%, 270 the low, 281 the high. Somewhat lowish volume, but then again, that's pretty much happening across the board. So 55.6 million shares being traded, 92 is the average. A couple of things to start off with. So GDP came out a little bit lower than anticipated, so that's helping the likelihood of a future cut, not necessarily for the first round, but for June, the June meeting. So again, that's kind of a good thing for the whole EV sector. But one big thing that is really driving the EV sector is Tesla earnings. Even though for face value, they did miss on a lot of their key numbers, they gave good future guidance. So I know I've stated this in the past that usually the market, in Lucid's case, they already know that they're burning through a lot of money. So essentially for their upcoming earnings on the 25th, the earnings per share and revenue might get a pass if they do get and give good future guidance. Similar to Tesla, right? All the market wants to hear from Lucid is that they're going to do at least 25,000, and essentially a good chunk of that is going to be gravity related. So I think in general, there's still a lot of good expectations and hope for Lucid to really have a home run for their earnings. And then over the last 90 days, despite a lot of the recent negative ratings that have come out, so you have a $3, $2, and $3. Despite that though, you have seen 4 positive and 1 negative revisions to the earnings per share. So this is why sometimes the actual price and the ratings will portray one thing, and then what they do for estimates is sometimes different. So let me know your viewpoint on that. Shorts are increasing 1.56 million shares, so they are definitely trying to suppress Lucid. It's always a good day to see the fact that Lucid is green and shorts are increasing. It really is kind of like a good middle finger to the shorts, but 23.37% of the free floats being shorted works out to be 278 million shares. A couple of things to take note of. So Lucid's website, they did update this. So the Grand Touring now does show 2026. And then the stats, you have this right here. So the Touring coming out late 2025. So yeah, pretty good stuff all in all. So let me know your thoughts on that. The only other thing I do want to bring up was more of a partnership, even though Lucid hasn't announced it today or done really any PR aside from the new CFO. But you did have this, so Lucid Oasis posted this. So RMA Worldwide, known for its premier transportation services, has added Lucid Air vehicles to its fleet. So I think more and more of these types of entities, I think the big one was Sixth, they are adding Lucids. And I think just, even though I know initially people is like, oh, rental agencies are not going to be using Lucids, just too expensive, but obviously Sixth, this, and I believe there was one other one as well. I think unofficially Enterprise, even though Lucid's never really announced that. But looking at RMA, even though a lot of their pictures show worldwide, doesn't actually state where this partnership is going to be encumbered, whether it's Europe or whatever, but I believe their HQ is in Maryland, so in the States. So it's fair to assume that that's where it'd be, but regardless, I think this is very, very good stuff for Lucid. So yeah, I think the future is bright. But aside from that, 403,000 in calls, 85,000 in puts, so very low volume for Lucid's options. 46% of all the options being done are bearish in nature, and just looking at the dollar value, I'm not really sure exactly what happened, but on average it was 5 million. That seems to have been the norm. I'm looking at this column on a side note, so it was always 5 million, then you had a 900,000, 800,000, 1 million, 1 million, or 1.6. Very low stuff, all in all. So kind of weird. I'm not really sure what to take from that, but of the call options that are being purchased, you do see a consensus for it to be above $3 for this week, next week, and then you have random pockets for it to be above 5 and whatever. Still, this column right here, so the February 28th chain, still not that much in options activity, and that would be encumbering their earnings. So kind of weird. Looking at the bears though, they are anticipating for it to be sub 250/2 for the foreseeable future. These are all the transactions occurring on the secondary market above $100,000. So matching with the common stock just being relatively low. So Nothing really to worry about. Big data coming out tomorrow, PCE, a lot of big companies unveiling their earnings as well after hours today, Apple and whatever else. So it should be a fun time. Aside from that, with that 275 trading between this pivot and this S1, so 231 will be a strong support, which wasn't touched at all today. And then 287 is going to be the next strong target / resistance point. And didn't really touch that either, but at least it's moving towards that direction. No new analyst ratings, nothing like that. No new articles on the actual chart itself. Still kind of wedge bound between these 2 points, so the 50-day moving average and ALMA, but as of right now, it is kind of flirting with that ALMA. So that's at $2.85. So I think just generally, Lucid is ready to finally move higher. A couple of resistance points to take note of, aside from the fib levels. You have that 100 and 200-day moving average. Once it's able to get above that, then yeah, it's going to be free to run as high as it really feels justified and whatever. But that 50-day moving average, luckily enough, I know that was kind of is a very big thing for Lucid. It once again held. So yeah. Let me know your viewpoint on Lucid. What's your thoughts on this latest partnership for this? And do you think that, just throwing it out there, do you think that the touring is actually going to come out late 2025, or are they going to push it to a little bit later down the line? So especially I guess Grand Touring hasn't really ramped up as much as a lot of people would really anticipate. So I don't know if they're just going to push everything back slightly, but I don't know. What's your thoughts? Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. One final thing, pop over to my Patreon, link in the description below and also the comments. I put out buy signals on stocks, options, and crypto. Many of them have been absolute bangers, so definitely worthwhile to pop over there and take a look. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.